Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. Today we are building what ends up to be quite a cursed Easter bunny. So I want to warn you before we continue that this bunny does not look very appealing at all. But I think that's part of the building process. So what happened was I wanted to make a build for Easter because it's Easter, it's a celebration, and surely there are things that you can build around like particular themes. So I was like, sure, I'll make an Easter bunny. And then I remembered a while ago when I was still playing like Pocket Edition, I had made a bunny. And it looked kind of funky. It had like a top hat. It was kind of cute, kind of goofy. And I was like, sure, you know what? I will try and recreate that to an extent from memory. And came out with what you're seeing on the screen, which is not ideal. It does not look very good. So I was like looking at the bunny, I was like, this doesn't look quite good. So, you know, maybe I can dig out an old screenshot. I found an old screenshot and then I used that like as a reference, and it did not go super well. I think that in the original photo it looks more goofy. I think the top hat helps a lot, but especially with like, I don't even know, but it looks quite strange. And I think it's safe to say that organic builds and animals are not my forte. I think this looks like a cartoon version of like a stuffed toy, which is really strange. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of it down below. But now on to talking about building. I sort of made it. I think it's hard to make animal heads, especially because they are so 3D. Like a lot of things you can make 2D first, and then just sort of wrap it around. So that's sort of what I did here. I made the face and the expression on mostly like a flat board, and then I added some depth to it, and then I started to wrap the sides around to give it more of like a cylinder, or not like a spherical sort of shape look. It took a lot of trial and error. I don't think the shapes are perfect. I think that with builds like this you could go all day and still never find a shape that you think is quite right. But I don't know, it was a good bit of experimentation, I think. I think I learned a lot from this build. Especially that I'm not particularly apt at building animals. So next week we'll be back to regularly scheduled building content of normal buildings, probably. The body was also really hard because I don't know how rabbit bodies work. I was sort of making it like a stuffed animal, which is like easier to fathom, but it still ended up looking quite disproportionate. Which is like fine. I'm not mad at the way this turned out, but I do think a lot of people will find it very creepy. But yeah, I did find it hard to try and make a bunny that was like, that I could fathom in 2D, but also that would look good and realistic in the 3D. I also was gonna add in some texturing to make it look more like fur, but in the end I just gave up. Once I saw the expression and the body of this thing, things did not go to plan. I did not really want to add more to it. It felt like a monstrosity of my own creation. Which is probably not the greatest. But it's fine. Like, mistakes and things that you're not proud of building are part of the building process. I also wanted to make like a really fluffy belly for this thing because, like, let's think about it. If I'm making more of like a stuffed toy rabbit, they have really fluffy bellies. So what I did, I sort of made like a backdrop, a 2D backdrop, and then from there made like the round soft bit out of wool, which is like a different texture, and it makes it look a little bit more real, I think. And then I filled that in with light gray concrete, and I added in depth while doing all of this, and then sort of dropped back the edges and made it into more of like a pear sort of body shape. But I really wanted it to look like cozy and fluffy, but I think it ended up looking more creepy than that overall. But it's fine. I also didn't want it to be like a perfect circle. I wanted it to be very organic as a build. And I think I succeeded in that. And then finally I started to make an egg basket, because if it is Easter, we must have eggs. What I really like about this basket is that I was able to use like both spruce and birch wood and the stripped logs of those in like the same thing without them looking really weird, because they're very different colors. So typically they'd like contrast a lot and it wouldn't look very good, but I'm learning to like odd combinations of woods, and I think that it looks really good. I think that it looks more like a hand woven basket, which is really what I was going for. And I think that with like the few details I added with like fences along like as like trimmings and stuff, I think that it really looked like intricately woven when really it wasn't. Like obviously it's not, it's Minecraft, but I think that those small details that I added really made the basket look much better than they would have without those details. And then finally, I added a touch of color with Easter eggs. There wasn't a lot of color in this build, so adding just this one big pop here and there was really good. I think it draws your eye more towards the build rather than just having a grey bunny and like a brown basket. But yeah, here's the final build. Happy Easter to those who celebrate it, and I will see you very soon for another video. If you did enjoy the video, let me know what you think down in the comments. What are your thoughts on this creepy rabbit? And remember to subscribe so you don't miss the next video.